I'm the attorney who founded the Woodward Project to promote urban development in the Woodward corridor. Let's get a big round of applause for Andrew Basile.
Can you all hear me? Good, thank you. Detroit was once a great city. It was the Silicon Valley of its age, a place where the best and brightest created technology that changed the world. Talented people like you once flocked to Detroit in great numbers. But in 1950, Detroit embarked upon a radical experiment of extreme suburbanization. To help sell cars, we led America's charge into suburbia, and we foolishly abandoned our proud old central city. Today, Detroit is the most suburbanized city on the planet, with only half the density of LA. Our radical experiment has led to miles of sprawl around a ruined core. And without a viable center, we're losing educated people like you. You're rejecting our experiment of extreme suburbanization and leaving Metro Detroit for more vibrant, walkable cities like Seattle and Austin. And without your talent and ambition, Detroit is lost. This catastrophic brain drain has run unchecked for nearly 50 years, and just look at the result. We're getting killed. It's time for a change. So, just ask yourself, what if Metro Detroit had a vibrant city? I say it's possible if we change our perspective and stop looking at the center city and its suburbs like this one as separate and competitive places, and instead view the region holistically. If we do that, we'll see that we already have the makings of a great American city, a city that transcends physical boundaries, a city hidden in plain sight. That city is the Woodward Avenue corridor. Now, the corridor runs from downtown Detroit along Woodward Avenue to Pontiac, and includes places like Birmingham and Ferndale. It's our region's main street and a historic core. Few think of Woodward as a city, but with over 350,000 residents, it has more people than Minneapolis. At 80 square miles, it's bigger than San Francisco. It's our region's main street and a historic core. Now, as this map shows, Woodward is a elongated stretch of quality urban living in a sea of suburban sprawl and urban blight. The green areas are those parts of our region that are walkable, and you can see they track the Woodward corridor. Now, unlike the traditional city, Woodward is not a political entity. You won't find it in any map, and this makes it hard for people to conceptualize it as a city. But take a closer look. Like a successful traditional city, the Woodward corridor is a collection of residential neighborhoods and commercial districts that are diverse, dense, prosperous, and walkable. It has all the assets of a quality city. But don't take my word for it. The Wall Street Journal actually on Saturday wrote an article praising the Woodward corridor and specifically citing Birmingham and Royal Oak as examples of successful walkable cities. We need to leverage these assets in combination with Detroit to redefine and rebuild our urban core. Now, if you have any remaining doubts, I ask you to look at this map, which shows how the urban grid of blocks stretches seamlessly from downtown Detroit through Birmingham. The so-called suburbs of the Woodward corridor are really urban in their scale and configuration. Okay, so Woodward has potential. Now, how do we make it great? The problem with Woodward is that its urban assets are too far apart and separated by ugly sprawl. They lack critical mass and identity. We need to make some changes. First, we need to build pocket main streets, which essentially are 1 or 2 block stretches of mile roads converted into walkable commercial areas, much like Clawson did in 14 Mile. For example, the intersection of 13 Mile and Woodward today is an ugly sea of sprawl, but it's also home to Beaumont Hospital, the biggest employer in Oakland County. It's a prime candidate for dense, transit-oriented development. Second, we need to make Woodward Avenue itself more walkable. Now, this building sits at the site of a former gas station on Woodward Avenue, and it's proof to the world that this highway can be made pedestrian-friendly. Finally, we need to build mass transit on Woodward. There's already a plan for a train from downtown Detroit to 8 Mile. That line needs to be extended all the way to Birmingham. This will enable the communities on Woodward to create a viable urban center. In sum, by combining the best of Detroit and the suburbs, the Woodward corridor defines a truly great American city. Let's recognize and develop this great American city to make our region globally competitive. Find out more at woodwardproject.org.